Hello and welcome. I'm Maria Ressa. This is the very first episode of hashtag Hold the Line. You guys have heard me say this forever now, actually, since the end of 2016. Hashtag Hold the Line, hold the line. It was the perfect way for journalists to talk about maintaining our rights, fighting for rule of law, right? You're not anti government, you are just holding the line in the Constitution. But it also means a lot more. Hold the line is about your values, your beliefs, the line where if you cross it, you're not you. So hold the line is also intensely personal. And we are extremely lucky today to have our first guest. He is 52-year-old Sonny Swe, somebody who I went to when I was confronted with the possibility of going to jail. Sonny was the founder of Myanmar Times in 2000. He is also the founder of Frontier Myanmar. He was jailed for 8 years in Myanmar, and then as soon as he popped out of jail, instead of like going on vacation, he goes and starts Frontier Myanmar. Right now, we are all glued watching what is going on in Myanmar. As of yesterday, hundreds of thousands of people, that's according to the New York Times, went out into the streets. Today, just a few minutes ago, we saw water cannons, not tear gas. So let me bring on Sonny Swe. Sonny, it is so good to speak to you, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Maria, and I'm very honored to be here.
So tell me, what is going on in Myanmar right now?
Well, it's today is I think uh, we are seeing a lot more demonstrators. I mean, military coup. That was exactly what happened from the 1st of February. Um, in order to form the new cabinet, there is a parliament session supposed to hold on the 1st of February after the elections. Then before the parliament sessions, there was a tension between National League for Democracy, which is the current government, and the military. Military and military-backed political party, USDP, basically, how do you say, saying that there is the election fraud. There are more than 10 million votes were fraud, and both military and USDP basically telling the government to look into this, but the tension were higher and higher, and NLD was saying the election was very legitimate, and the elections, the results were everything is fine, no fraud. So basically, NLD ignored the requests from NLD, USDP and military. And so military basically warned USDP that if you don't look into this, something might happen. So it's a hint that they give. So there was a press conference right before the coup. And one of the reporters said, is there any chance of the coup? And the military spokesperson said, I can't say no to that. It could be a coup if NLD doesn't look into these results. So tension got higher and higher. At the end, on the first, in the morning, the military basically started detaining Aung San Suu Kyi, the state councillor, and the president, Win Myint, and the high-ranked cabinet officers, and some of the state, how do you call it? These chief ministers all were detained, and then that was the coup. Started from 2:30 in the morning, and that's how it is. And finally, President Win was detained, and then Vice President number one, who is the ex-general, Myen Swe, it's acting president, and he declared state of emergency in the country, and then transfer the power to the military. So that's the background. And today I'm seeing a lot more um, demonstrators join in, and today is probably is the biggest in terms of the size of the crowd. Tens of thousands of people are already gathered since 9 o'clock in the morning at the city hall, which is the center point for all the demonstrators.
How do you feel, Sonny?
Well, lost, very much lost. Our democracy is only 10 years old, and which is very fragile. And I always have this feeling that, it's too young to die. And I don't think we deserve this. The people of Myanmar deserve this. And I am worried. I'm worried about press freedom. We don't know how far we can push, or everything is so lost at this moment. Very, very confusing, not knowing what's going to happen or what to expect next.
It's fascinating. I mean, we're looking at the photos. By the way, if you want to see the latest in Myanmar, just go on Twitter, hashtag what is happening in Myanmar. Type it in and you'll see. You can get the top or you can get the latest news. It's the photos are overwhelming. And this sign, from the Hunger Games, which we saw in Thailand, a little bit in Cambodia, this is all over the photos. Tell me, how did this happen? What does this mean for the people of Myanmar?
Well, this is the very, very unlike from 2007 or 1988 demonstrations. Now is the IT, the technology involved, and what is happening now is this CDM. Um, it's very, very effective, and these CDM campaigns happening online, especially via Facebook. And this is the three fingers salute. And it's everywhere. So three fingers plus the red balloons that, how do we call it? Hydrogen balloons that people are letting go in the sky. So these are the sign of a demonstration, revolution, but everything is very, very peaceful and quiet at this point. We don't see any road blockage or neither soldiers, no, the guns, only the police at the present. They are very, very friendly. The citizens, demonstrators are giving them flowers and the water. And so far, everything is very, very quiet. And demonstrators are basically asking for the release of Aung San Suu Kyi, and everybody is saying, chanting that Win Myint is the elected president. So they are basically condemning the military coup. So that's the situation at this point.
We're watching from the Philippines, and one of the things, given, for example, COVID, given a very, very powerful military, where do you think people are getting courage from?
You know what? That's amazing. I am also so much worried that these demonstrations doesn't turn into a super spreader. But I think it's very difficult to stop people not to go out on the street. I don't think people are thinking about COVID at this moment. People are just basically reclaiming the democracy, and that's what they want. Maria, you will probably notice that on the weekend, internet was shut down for 26 hours.
Yes.
And so that was a big chaos, but in a way, it's really good as well because you don't see a lot of things. You don't absorb too much worry at this point, so it's a good break for 26 hours. But then people are sending SMS to each other, and a lot of rumors, fake news circulated on the phone. For instance, Saturday night, the whole Yangon was cheering, and people are using the fireworks, and they're hitting the pot and pans, and then clappings. It went really, really wild, and it was because they thought there was another coup happened, and the leader, Aung San Suu Kyi, has been released, and she's back in her office. So people are so happy and chanting, and so that's sort of rumors circulating because of no internet connection. But then we got it back yesterday afternoon after 26 hours of blackout. Uh, uh, it's really good to be connected again, but what we are seeing now is quite worryingly uh, a lot of, I mean, I think the tactics now is that, you know, shutting down the internet didn't work. There are some ways to basically people are sending the news out of and the photos and videos out. So maybe if they lift the connection again, now we are seeing police snipers, on the rooftops and stuff like that, which is all wrong. This is what we are working on now. A lot of disinformation circulating and trying to scare everyone that they might get shot very soon. And I'm looking at these photos, and these photos are at least 4 or 5 years old photos. It's people are now tweeting, people are sharing about these police snipers on the roof.
Wow. So before I ask you about you, I mean, the role of Facebook, right? Like Facebook was condemned. A UN special panel came in, led by
Mhm.
Indonesian Marzuki Darusman, and basically said that genocide had happened in Myanmar, fueled by Facebook. And then Facebook took extra care. So that was earlier. And then just in your own elections last December, Facebook took special care to try to make sure that your elections were free of disinformation. They have never gone into that country specific, aside from the United States. I mean, do you see Facebook as a good guy or a bad guy?
Well, what I can tell you now is it's very, very poisonous. It is good to use Facebook for very peaceful demonstrations. I mean, as long as people are reading, how do you say, real news on the Facebook,
Right.
it's great. But then it's quite dangerous. Like Maria, I always say that, Facebook is like if you look at the Stone Age, right? It's like a fire, human beings found out about the fire. So it's exactly like fire. If you know how to use Facebook, it's really great for you. But if you started abusing Facebook, then it's going to burn you and kill you. So I think at this point, Facebook is it's everything. I mean, we are getting all the numbers in terms of COVID patients and how it's affected. Everything is on the Facebook, which is great. We everything is quite okay in that sense. But this disinformation, misinformation, and hate speeches, it's getting more and more powerful on the Facebook platform. Not only Facebook, Maria. Now people are using TikTok to incite these things, and YouTube is another channel. We are seeing a lot more disinformation spreading on the Twitter as well. So I think the platforms are going to be there all the time. I think people who the user of the platforms, it's quite important. But I think tech giants also have to be a lot more serious in terms of taking care of our society.
Actually, Sunny, correct me if I'm wrong, but the general who was banned by Facebook, taken down by Facebook, is the general in charge now, correct?
Correct.
He is.
Yes.
Okay, so he was banned, meaning
Uh-huh.
Facebook actually had evidence that devices connected to him that he was inciting violence on Facebook. Okay, so this is the
So
general charge.
yeah, it's not only him. I think General Mail Online plus many other accounts and the groups that has been taken down. Yes,
And they're in power now and controlling this situation. Okay.
correct, correct.
Um,
Yeah.
we only have a few minutes left, but I want to ask you about you, right? Hashtag hold the line. We have had many conversations about this. After you were jailed for 8 years, 8.5 years, as you always tell me, um, why did you create Frontier Myanmar? Why did you, stay a journalist when it has taken such a toll on your personal life?
Well, there are two reasons. One is um, I was wrongfully charged and wrongfully sentenced in full uh, to the highest punishment, and I couldn't even hire a lawyer. It wasn't a public court; it was a special court in the prison, and then basically one, two, three, four, boom, you're guilty. So I was so angry that I didn't have chance to tell people that I'm not guilty at all, right? So it's the truth. It's about the facts and the truth. I didn't see that. So throughout my imprisonment for 8.5 years, that's my dream, that everybody has right to know what the truth is, and I have to be able to report about it. So that's my personal feeling, and also my professional feeling is that a situation like this, a situation like COVID, somebody has to reveal the truth. And what we do, Maria, it's we are risking more on imprisonment than our wealth, right? So, but the thing is that I love what we do, letting our community understand what is happening in the country, and trying to explain in depth like why this is happening. I think that's very good in terms of merit, because I'm a Buddhist. It's a good merit that you do something good for people, and I have this good feeling, and that is keeping me going. Why should I give up? 8.5 years, I came out a lot stronger. And if I give up publishing, then the rest of my life, they're going to be on my head all the time. And I can't let that happen.
And they win, so
They will win. Yeah.
yeah, you
Now,
have to know. Sunny is one of the people who helped give me courage, right? When I was so given this moment now, Sunny, where you are again, you could, a lot of things can happen. How do you how are you preparing yourself given that there is so much uncertainty? What are you prepared to give up to protect democracy?
I think our job is to what we all are prepared is like do exactly what we're supposed to do, hold the line, always report the truth. without any bias, without any emotions. And doesn't I know the risks, the stakes are quite high, but I think it's quite important for our readers, audience, to understand what is going on in this country. And I think we are all very happy to take this role and explain as much as we can and wait for, I don't know, maybe the new regulations, because new Minister of Information is appointed. We haven't heard any regulations in terms of press freedoms or censorship, but we all keeping our finger crossed, and we are working away no matter what. So I'm in the office today. My one of my editors in the office, and the rest is on the street. And we are basically very, very proud of what we are doing at this point.
Okay, and this is my last question for those who are watching. So you know the toll on Sonny's family and the kind of lenses he looks at Myanmar through. His father was a military general who was sentenced to like 147 years in prison. Is that right?
Correct.
And he was
146.
146 years in prison. He was released in 2013. Sonny was sentenced to 14 years in prison. He was released after serving 8.5 years. And here he is in Frontier Myanmar, in his office, holding the line.
Holding the line.
Sonny, thank you. Thank you so much. Any last thoughts in terms of, you know, you have to have a best case and a worst case scenario. Any last thoughts for us as you grapple with this moment in time?
Well, I hope everything stays peaceful. And like military always said, this is the constitutional coup. So we are experiencing that it's very, very different from 1988. And we haven't seen any reckless shooting or killing or anything like that. So thank God for that. And let's hope that we remain this way. And let's hope that we can still hold the line at this point. And that would be a great success for us.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. Sonny Swe from
thank you.
Frontier Myanmar's offices. I'm Maria Ressa. This is the opening episode of Hashtag Hold the Line. Join us again. Bye bye.